What's up, gamers? Welcome to another Battle Mallet unboxing. Tonight, I don't know when you're watching this, we are going to be unboxing the Warhammer Underworlds Embergard 4 game box. My name is Jerod Johnson. Tonight, I am joined by Trace Al Capone Hyde.
What's up?
And Jason Tabled New Murray.
Oh my god!
Embergard. Yeah, so we don't know how to do this, so we're just gonna do it. So here's the box.
Well, it's really easy. So you're just gonna take the box. You're gonna open it up.
Well, I figured we could like show the back of the box.
The current state is closed box. The whole point of this is open box, correct?
It's an unboxing. So
okay.
With a box.
All right.
The one thing of note is that it is a much
looks thicker
box. I tried to come prepared. So there's Wintermaw. And then there's Embergard. So it's like, I don't know. It's a little bit thicker.
Maybe a quarter inch thicker.
Yeah. So more material. Anyway, this is an unboxing, not just a boxing. So here we go. Again, no shrink wrap.
Sir, for safety, could you please cut away from yourself?
Yes, I did that time.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
You can't prove it because it wasn't on camera.
I know, right? I will demonstrate capping the knife.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
All right. So
for the one comment and
doodle. Oh, I can't really do that because we will get sent by Nintendo. It's more Embergard. All right. Oh,
that's nice.
Gosh. All right. Save that for later. All right, we have some Skaven in very green. That's almost the same color as the Orkies.
There's looks Warpstone green.
It's very green.
I mean, my first question is like,
yep.
How are those sitting packaged? Like, are they
nice
and sug?
Yeah, they were pretty good. And then this hefty, this has got to be like the rule book and all of the boards and tokens and stuff in here. But it felt pretty safe. The dice are packaged under. It is like, I feel like they could have spread this out.
But they needed something to support the weight of that.
Yeah, they have to have
contents.
there has to be like a bracket there to support the book.
I don't know.
It will destroy the minis.
They probably did the best that they could. But look at pseudo close-ups of the sprues.
That is that's a big warpstone drill.
That is a big warpstone drill. Yep, there's the part of the mini doom wheel. Other part.
Those look like they'll be fun to paint. Yeah,
exciting stuff. I can't wait to see what you do with them. And here's the Stormcast, and there's not a lot of surprises here. This is kind of fun. That's a leg, and then a long neck piece and a head. So that's funny.
They look more fluid than the previous Stormcast do. Like they're more dynamic.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. And I think that's just a product of GW getting better at miniature design and sculpting and stuff.
Honestly, some of my favorite Stormcast sculpts have been Zandire.
Love Zandire. Hey, dice. A little ASMR.
What kind of dice are in there?
Warhammer Underworlds Embergard dice. Am I gonna? It's like a paper pouch. And then there we go. There's the dice.
That looks to be just attack and defense dice.
It is just attack and defense dice. But I think we knew that from Nick's article. Oh, the defense dice are slightly translucent.
Huh.
So the attack dice are definitely translucent orange. And then they're like smoke.
That's cool.
Just barely translucent. I don't know a good way to show that on the camera, but there they are. All right, let's move this out of the way. Jason, you good? Any questions so far?
No.
All right. Cut away from myself.
There you go.
Recap the knife.
Safety first.
Safety first. One of our 12 viewers is going to say something. All right.
Well, that's nice.
So start with the rule book. That's well packed. It is not hardbound. So
Okay.
I think the image that was on that article was probably like a 3D render. But so here we go. Battles. Getting ready to play. Descriptions of everything. So we got warbands, rivals decks, abilities. So we'll go through all this, all the big differences as it comes. You know, we'll listen to our podcast, check out our blog. Seems pretty normal. I'll have to figure out how that goes. So from page 6 to page 19 is the main rules, and then we have expanded rules, rules clarifications, persistent abilities, Nemesis deck building, pick 2 rivals decks. Only 1 rivals deck with a plot card can be picked.
Okay.
To be one of those chosen decks, pick 12 or more objectives. You can have a maximum of 6 surge objectives. This is your Nemesis. Objective deck, pick 20 or more power cards from your chosen rivals decks. Up to half of these cards can be ploys. This is your Nemesis power deck. Each card in each deck must have a unique name. Duplicate cards are not allowed. That's interesting. I wonder if there are a lot of duplicate cards. All right, so Warville. Oh, so we got primers on all of the rivals decks and the warbands.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah, so like on that there, do they classify what they play as, like the strike or flex?
I have not read it, so I don't see those icons.
Okay.
That may be something that gets published with like the competitive play documents, like what we currently have. You know what I'm talking about? Like the rules that lay out like Nemesis decks and legal boards. Like it may be included in that. But I don't see those. I don't see those icons, and I'm not in a quick scan seeing those words. And then lore. Lore. There we go. Next step.
Was that a how to paint right there?
Hello.
Hello.
2 new minis.
What?
Yep. The Grandfather's Gardeners and Jaws of Itzel.
Whoa.
Holy cow.
I guess that's what's coming next.
That's pretty sweet.
Cool.
So that's looks like a Plague Bearer or a Herald of Nurgle, I guess. And then that is a Seraphon. I can't remember what that unit was called.
Temple Guard.
Yeah, but no, it's like he looks like it was the special character. I can't remember. And then here are those the symbols. So strike, take, and hold. That's all in here, but it doesn't define. It just
they define it, but they don't say what is what.
Which is which, yeah. So I imagine that it's going to come in the organized play documents that we will get later.
I was just really curious because, like, I think like as you're buying one of these additional warbands, like you may want to know that before you pick it up. So I didn't know where they'd show it.
Yep. Cool. Well, that's exciting. I didn't know that we were going to get previews of the new warbands in here. Nice.
What a surprise.
It is a pleasant surprise. All right. Quick start document with a QR code that you could scan for a video playthrough. So that's fun.
Well, that's cool.
So, like, yeah, it's like your first steps to play. Instructions. All right. We have the War Scroll cards. And I tried to plan ahead because I know that there are questions about the sizes. This is an Age of Sigmar War Scroll card. And this is the Underworlds Embergard. So it is smaller than that. Here is...
Oh, it's the same size as a War Scroll.
Well, it's actually slightly smaller than a Warcry War Scroll card. Same width.
Can you put it on your
height,
green mat and just measure it?
I could. It's probably in millimeters, which I would have to flip my mat over. We'll do that at the end.
Okay.
We'll report back. But they have a different texture. Like there's a, I don't know how to define it. Maybe like a little velvety. I don't know.
What is that? Velvet?
Yeah, right? It's not perfectly smooth.
Like anyway. Soft touch? Like a soft touch?
No, it's not quite soft touch. I don't know. It's not as like slick as the other cards that they produced. Anyway. All right, putting those where we can get to them later. All right, so we have
tokens.
So we've got glory, damage, or wound, treasure tokens, as we know now that they are called. Using the new iconography for move, raise counters. So, I mean, at least I assume that that's what those are. Probably says in the rulebook what those are. Let's find out. Because if there are raise counters, then that means some warbands. Yep, it says raise token. So I guess we'll be getting some warbands with raise mechanics at some point. And then if you flip them over, you have 5 glory counters, 2 wound counters, and then the same. And then some. Oh, the raise counters now have the generic tokens on the other side.
Oh, cool. Well, that makes sense.
And only 5 treasure tokens. But I think we knew that was coming because there's not a way to do the board to get more than 2 players. So speaking of the board, let's get this out of the way. Oh my gosh. Well, we don't need to show that again because a bunch of the tokens just fell out. All right, so here's the board. And oh gosh, it's gonna have to go off camera.
Oh man.
Not enough room. We almost get the whole board on there. Okay.
Looks almost square, but not really.
Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 that way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 that way. That's cool. So this
9
board
is wider, right? 9
yeah,
is
one side is wider than the other.
No, what I'm saying is I think that even on our boards we had previously, it wasn't 9 wide.
Yeah, I don't know.
It looks to be more arena shaped. Less like... It's like it flares in the middle.
Yeah. Where is an old board? I was almost prepared.
I'd like to think that it's one big hexagon, but it's more sides than a hexagon.
Yeah.
All right, here we go.
Like an octagon shape.
Old board. Oh. The hexes are smaller.
How many wide is that one, Jerod?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Yeah.
8 wide, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Flip it over, 11.
So still 11, but
yeah.
one wider.
Yep. But the hexes are smaller.
What the hex?
No, that's another podcast. All right. So there's one side. Definitely looks more hand drawn and less like 3D rendered than the most recent boards that we've gotten, which I appreciate.
Very cool. I'm concerned about Mollog fitting on one of those smaller hexes.
Well, you're assuming that we're going to get a Mollog.
I mean, just
all
for
58 warbands.
Oh, that's true.
So,
just do you have one handy to plop it on
Mollog?
there? Yeah,
I can get
go
like
get
a
Kanan.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'll be right back.
Okay. And while he does that, like I'm just reading the new warbands, like so, like it's kind of cool in the rule book. You know, they talk about the core rules being, you know, very streamlined, and then there's advanced rules. Like there's only
Decided
one.
I could do better than Kanan.
There's only like one page of advanced rules.
There's black powder. So black powder takes up more than a whole square.
Wow.
Or more than a whole hex.
That's weird.
He is substantial.
I mean, yeah.
Girthy.
Just don't have black powder adjacent to a black powder, and I think you'll be fine.
It's not going to matter. You're going to know where he's at. It doesn't matter.
That's weird, though.
Yeah, it's just weird. Different.
What about one of the old Stormcasts? Like, how much bigger?
Let me go get First Rider.
Okay, so I can finish my conversation because he couldn't hear me anyway or something. So, like, it goes core rules, like, the first 16 pages or whatever. And then, core rules go through page 18, which is 16 pages. And then it explains the end phase. And then expanded rules is one page, which is page 20. And it just like covers kind of like bold things like heal, hex type, starting hexes. It does have raise right in the rule book. You know, when this happens, some abilities allow fighters to be raised. A raised fighter is given a raised token, and it has a bounty characteristic of 0.
Oh, that's cool.
Spicy.
Yeah, and then it goes from there. It goes to rules clarifications, which is adjacency and ranges and stuff like that. So it is the rulebook is very, very concise. And then because I'm super interested in those new warbands, the next steps is it just explains how they're expanding the game, which is nothing new about offering different warbands and stuff. And it says the Seraphon Warriors, the Jaws of Itchel. Oh, I don't know. No, it's Itchit, I think. Isn't he like the Jaws of the Rats? No? Okay. No. They're a great bulwark against those who would disrupt the plans of their slain masters. As enduring as eternity, these slabs of scales and muscle bear heavy shields into combat, marching to position and daring the enemy to deny them. This makes them equal at home in defense and offense. Others, like the Grandfather's Gardeners, have completely unique mechanics. The plague cycle that these demons of Nurgle nurture requires them to defend treasure tokens and slay enemies in equal measure. The rewards are clever manipulation of the cycle, but allows canny opponents to interfere with their precise play. That's pretty cool. And these models look sweet. So, anyway.
Nice.
You like teased me, and I'm like, I need to know now.
Save it for the podcast. Or not.
Or not.
Oh,
wow. There's an index in this rule book. You didn't talk about that either.
Oh my gosh, Jason. There's an index.
But it's like not like the index like we had, you know, like where it was like a summary of terms. It's an index that points you to the page number that it's on, and then an index of rune marks, which is really cool too. I'm excited.
All right, hand me the book so I can put it on the camera. All right, there's your index, everybody, that Jason was so excited about. It is like, it does look like we're moving to rune marks for things. Having an index of rune marks will be nice. I agree. And then, yes, having page numbers where to go and not differing definitions So it's not a glossary index combo. It is.
Yeah, because we've just seen like how that glossary can sometimes say one thing and then the rule books say a little bit of a different version.
Yeah.
So it's nice that it's all in the rule book.
Oh.
Can we talk about how the plague bearer dude has literally a pot in his belly?
Is it in his belly? Oh, it is
It's
in
literally in his belly. He is a pot belly.
That's awesome.
Like it's all stretched and distended around the pot. It's disturbing.
As one does, as a plague bearer.
As a Nurgle follower to be.
As a Nurgle follower.
What? Can you show me the back of the rule book, please?
Yes, the back of the rule book has.
Yeah, look at that.
Rules
Game
reference,
sequence.
Yeah, combat
action
sequence.
steps, combat sequence, power step. Which, I mean, before, like, previous editions, it was, like, a whole bunch of dice. Like, this explains the game steps much better. And I think with the new dice mechanic, there won't be as many needs for clarification on that.
Yep.
It's pretty sweet.
Yeah. All right. Do we like the box background? Do we want the plain background? What do we think?
It doesn't matter.
Whatever you would like to do.
So it's out of the way.
Mr. Johnson. I would like to comment on the fact that that is a cool piece of artwork. That is
a cool piece of artwork. Like, that's like worth putting up by itself.
Yeah. Like if you could pull that sticker off right there and not damage the front of that, you could cut it and make a little poster out of it. Because there's no title on it. That's super cool.
Full art, baby. All right. So let's talk about some things as we get into these cards. Check this out.
What's that?
It's a card that talks about like what territories are for the different orientations.
Is it the same? It's the same size as all the other cards, right?
It is the same size as all the other cards.
No, that's cool. Like a reference card.
Yeah, and then I noticed these reference cards.
Oh, those are cool.
What does a roll off mean?
Huh.
What does setting up mean? Turn sequence?
So but that mirrors the other games, right? Like 40K, AOS all have these reference cards.
Not like that, though.
And this is all of the stuff that's on the back of the rulebook.
Yeah.
Core abilities, charge tokens.
That's nice to have.
Yeah. It's a nice little improvement. All right. Second. Uh-oh. One, two, three, 4, 5.
Double check your box.
I will. It's right in there.
It's probably tucked into one of those somewhere.
Well, we'll find out. I might be down a leader card. So we'll just take a quick look at one. Here is Farasa stats, different bounty characteristics, and then the inspired side. So very clear that the fighter is inspired. Yeah.
Cool.
Yep. All 5 of the Skaven.
Those look clean, though.
They do, and they have the same feel that I was describing earlier. Like, it's not quite soft touch, but there's, I don't know, a little bit more texture than what we've seen in the past.
They feel more grippy than the previous versions.
Yeah, and thicker.
Yeah, maybe.
So this is a Force of Frost card. They are slightly thicker. Anyway.
It's not a bad problem.
That's right. I'm just over here internally panicking because I'm missing a fighter card, but I'm sure we'll find it.
I'm sure it's there somewhere.
All right, so we're not going to rifle through all of these. Aha, there it is. All right, so we have Countdown to Cataclysm, which has a plot card.
It's the final countdown.
While using this Rivals deck during the Muster Warband step of setting up, place a generic token on the first step on the Countdown card included in this deck. Countdown card? Oh. It's a fuse. Nice. So there's a 1, 2, a 3, and a 4. All right, that's fun.
Well, it's nice that there's a dedicated space because you know that there's like a lot of the other Rivals decks that we've had in the past, right? They've said something to the effect of like place a counter on this thing, right?
Yeah.
But you never really had a dedicated place to put that. I think that's a really clever thing to do.
Yeah. Well, and Jason, this goes back to what you were talking about in one of our recent episodes where, like, how do you do token management? Anyway, you're going to advance the Cataclysm tracker one step the first time a friendly fighter is slain in each combat phase, and you can advance your Cataclysm tracker one step after the last power step in each battle round for each feature token that has no enemy fighters on it. And then depending on which step you are on, it determines what your Cataclysm value is. Oh yeah, because there's little steps along the fuse. So let me punch out a token. So there's the beginning. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 9,
oh, you can count. That's nice.
10, 11, 12, 13. 13th step. So maybe it starts there. I don't know.
All I see is something that you don't need to play. That's what I see right here.
Yeah, right? Hey, listen. I kept a whole count of my thaw counters when I was playing Rhymelock. I did all right. Certainly didn't hurt that all of my opponents were also playing Rhymelock, and I just put a counter on my things when they did theirs. All right, so there's Rhymelock. There's a Countdown to Cataclysm. We have Pillage and Plunder.
Hold on. Uniquely, this deck rewards a player with their fighter when their fighters are slain, but only once per phase. So the player cannot afford to be too reckless. Players will also want to prevent enemy fighters from holding treasure tokens, so punishing them off or ensuring they are driven back is essential. These are the two main ways to increase the deck's Cataclysm value, and once it reaches certain thresholds, its cards become all the more powerful. This deck flourishes in the mid to late game, so it pays to be conservative early on to reap its rewards in battle round 2 and 3.
Sounds fun.
And what's the next one?
So we have Pillage and Plunder.
Does that have a plot card?
It does not have a plot card. So I'm just flipping through Delved. No friendly fighters are adjacent, and any friendly fighters are not slain. 1 or fewer feature tokens in friendly territory. 2 or fewer treasure tokens on the battlefield.
You want the little summary here?
Yeah, go for it. Yeah, sounds like delving is a thing.
Yep. Players should focus on moving fighters onto feature tokens and making regular use of the delve ability to flip them. This results in a risk versus reward playstyle. Players need to flip feature tokens at the cost of putting themselves out of position and picking up stagger token. However, the deck offers plenty of tricks to make sure a player can flip feature tokens and keep their fighters safe, or as safe as one can be, given the proximity to enemy fighters who are keen to cut them down.
Nice.
And I don't recall there being little summaries for Rivals decks before, like other than the theme.
Other than the plot card itself.
Yeah.
This is really cool.
It is cool. It's good. It makes it it's going to be easy to understand like how your deck should play without
or just like the general gist of like, if you don't like to hold objective, you don't have. Okay, that's not for me. Like,
yep, exactly.
It's very easy to assess and put it aside.
You struggle with token management? Well, then don't play this one.
Don't play Countdown to Cataclysm or whatever.
Okay, so I didn't really flip through the first deck. I've been flipping through the second one. And I have my thoughts on shifting away from art to pictures of models. Well, now I can't complain at all because there's Yothari's Guardians. So you'll get no complaints from me about the card art because my babies are there.
It's just anyway, it's just so there's a couple things that I think are interesting about that choice. First, is it, it seems like a business decision.
Oh, sure.
Because now they don't have to potentially pay artists to do the artwork or whatever. And it's also just more product placement for the miniatures. So, like, they can just, like that one of Yothari's Guardians, for newer players that may not know that Yothari's Guardians were a thing, they're like, oh, what is this warband? That looks really cool. So, I mean, I'm sad that the card art is not there, but it is something that I'll move past.
Well, and I will say they've also done a really good job. Like, these are very atmospheric, thematic pictures. Like, this card is called Frenzy of Greed, and there is Mange.
What's the monkey's name? It's the monkey's name is Mange.
Surrounded by no less than 7 treasure chests.
Yeah.
So they're incorporating. It's not just Underworlds miniatures, like.
And that's an upgrade worth 2 glory.
It costs 2.
Yeah.
Glory. Yep.
Yeah. Which I can't wait to talk about on a future episode because that is bonkers to me.
I know, right? Well, at one point we did have upgrades that cost 2 glory.
Yeah, season
way back,
1.
Way back when.
When
stuff was broken.
Emberstone Sentinels, no plot card. You want to read us the...
Sorry, I was drinking.
He was hydrating.
Okay. Treasure token. He's
wetting the whistle.
Into water.
Treasure token.
What one is this?
I can only guess what this what this deck wants to do. Emberstone Sentinels. I'm just...
Yeah. Requires fighters to hold treasure tokens.
What?
Including those in enemy territory and neutral territory throughout the game. As a result, the players will need to be aggressive, as hiding passively in friendly territory will only get them so far. However, this deck allows players to swap treasure tokens around, push their fighters into vital positions, and heal those who have taken damage. Once a player has a few glory points to hand, they will be rewarded with upgrades that increase the durability of their fighters, as well as making them much more resilient to being moved around by enemy fighters.
So, I have in my hand Supremacy.
Is it called Supremacy?
It is literally called Supremacy. It is for 3 glory. But it says, score this in an end phase if 2 or more friendly fighters with a total bounty characteristic of 3 or more hold treasure tokens.
So you have to hold 2.
2, at least 2.
It has to equal 3.
Yep. And the bounty characteristic of the fighters holding the tokens has to be 3 or more.
Okay, so if they're like little piddly fighters,
fighters, or
has to be minimum of 2 with a bounty characteristic of 3.
Yeah. So hold 2 for 3.
Yeah, but I mean, just talk about how many different levers there are there to balance stuff like that now. So like, if they're willing to rate a card like that, that's really cool. We'll get into that more in depth, but like there's like glory, like the glory of a fighter, the glory of the card, the value of the treasure tokens. Like there's a lot that can be pulled there.
So any 2 of the Stormcast, the Ember Watch, could do it.
Yep.
And then you would need Ritak, or Zick It, and then one of the other two, so niche or crit attack.
And it can be in any territory?
In any territory, yep. Tick Tick will not help you.
And it's
Tick
worth
Tick's
3.
bounty is 0.
It's worth 3.
Yep.
So like,
so you can do Zick It and Tick Tick actually.
Yep. But all right, so that could be an extremely passive card with the Stormcast, right? Because it can be any territory.
Passive with the Skaven too.
For 3. But think of the board, right? There's been all this conversation about the changing of the board.
Yeah,
it's not going to be easy to hide in the back. Like there's going to be engagement.
Yeah.
So like that's a really cool card. Yes, it's really high reward for 2 fighters in your territory on treasure tokens, but you should be able to get to them to at least be able to try to get them off.
Yeah. All right, Blazing Assault. All right, so hold on. So Countdown to Cataclysm, that feels mastery.
Yes.
There's tricks.
I would agree. Pillage and Plunder feels flex.
Yep. Emberstone Sentinels feels taking a hold.
So, what do you think Blazing Assault is?
Strike.
It's literally in the title. Assault.
Yeah. Blazing Assault. Stand in the back. Be on edge hexes in friendly territory.
It promotes and rewards aggressive, fast-paced playstyle. A player using this deck will want their fighters to use charge abilities whenever possible, or failing that, attack abilities. The deck's ploys offer fighters improved speed, accuracy, and damage, along with a handful of positional tricks to make sure their enemies can't escape too easily. Once a player has sufficient glory points, this deck's upgrade reward fighters with further accuracy and damage to ensure they can finish off whoever is left standing.
There you go.
Give me a good one. Tell me like great strengths in there.
Great strength. This fighter's melee weapons have Grievous. Oh gosh, gotta go to the index now. What is Grievous?
It's
I know what it used to be.
It is a critical surge ability or something like that.
No, Grievous 15. It is a skull with a strike through it though, so that's nice. Grievous. This fighter's weapon has +1 damage for that attack action.
Yeah, it's a critical weapon ability. So
well,
you have
not
to
a critical weapon ability.
Yeah.
It's not preceded by the crit symbol.
Sir.
I'm
looking at the same rulebook you are.
I know, but the card I'm looking at, this fighter's melee weapon have Grievous, and then it's just the strike. Critical weapon abilities
would have a crit in front of it.
Have a crit, yeah.
Got it. Yep.
Jerod, did I see a throwback card in there?
There are lots of throwback cards in there.
Did I see an illusory fighter in there?
You did. Where did it go? It's probably in the stack that was already in my hand.
So weapon
Twist
ability.
the knife.
What? No way.
Play this immediately after you pick a melee weapon as part of an attack. That weapon has Grievous for that attack.
Okay.
Oh, so it's not.
It's not as bad, but still.
Illusory fighter, pick a friendly fighter, remove that fighter from the battlefield, then place that fighter in an empty starting hex in friendly territory.
Sweet.
So Grievous is +1 damage, but it's not a critic. Like you don't have to roll a crit anymore. That's different.
Yeah.
Unless it specifies that there's a critical in front of it. Is that what I'm understanding?
Well, that's a critical ability said that it had to have a critical, or said that it would have a critical in front of it.
Okay.
Let's see if I can find one of those.
Yeah, so like in the rulebook, it gives an example. During attack action, picks a weapon that has crit Grievous, critical Grievous below rune mark. Then they play a surge ploy that gives the weapon cleave, In step 1 of the combat sequence that follows ability, they cannot pick both. Oh, so like you can only have one ability, period. But if it requires a crit, and there's a little like picture in the rule book that's range 1, 3 fury for 1 damage, and then off to it is a crit Grievous symbol. So that means that Grievous is critable, is a critable, as we say here. And but if not, then they just have weapon abilities if that crit symbol doesn't appear. So it could be either or. But again, like you can't have cleave and ensnare and brutal. Like you have to pick one ability.
Really?
Yeah, weapon abilities are commonly found next to the weapon on a fighter card. Some power cards will grant a weapon an additional rune mark. If a weapon has more than 1 rune mark, then the attacker player can choose which weapon ability to use. However, an attacker player can only choose 1 weapon ability to use until the attack is resolved.
Oh. So you don't get cleave and ensnare, so I'm not going to just delete everything against somebody who's on guard.
Gotta pick it. Like your nose.
Or your friends.
No,
but not your friend's nose. Okay.
I mean, reading is difficult, but I think I got that one.
No, I think you got that. I'm curious to see how that plays out.
Well, I'm just like curious to dive into more of these cards and stuff. Yeah, like now that you have to pick one, and like sometimes Grievous is only on crits, and sometimes it maybe isn't on crits. Like if you're saying Great Strength just says Grievous, then that's not on a crit. It's just +1 damage, which makes it simpler, right? Like, oh, Grievous, I know what that does. I know what the crit does. Like,
yeah, it's not the same as.
And that also insinuates that it can't stack.
Yeah, because it only can be one ability.
Yeah, you would. Yeah, if you have 2 things that give you Grievous, you could only pick one of those.
Yeah, 1 instance. Yep.
Well, that makes the warp charged ability for Zicket's Tunnel Pack interesting.
So what's that?
So use this immediately after you pick a weapon as part of an attack. That weapon has cleave, ensnare, and brutal for that attack. So you get to pick which one is the best for that situation.
Yeah, but you don't get all 3.
But you don't get all 3. So if you're hitting somebody on guard, you probably want to pick cleave.
Yeah, because you got to remember, like, cleave is, with the change to the dice mechanic, like, just eliminating 2 successes off a die is pretty baller.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it was already powerful, but...
now even more so, though.
Yeah, it's like crits are now like wilds.
Yeah, but, yeah, so if you roll, like, if you're on 1 die, right, or if you're on 2 dice... and let's just say, like, I'm rolling 3, I roll 2 successes to hit you. You're on 2 defense dice, and I'm eliminating all but crits. You have to roll double crits to block my 2 successes. Like, if you roll 1 crit,
no longer does it. Yeah.
Too bad.
Although, if you do roll a single crit and you only roll 2 successes, then you do get to use the stand fast, which means you reduce the damage by 1, and you can't be driven back.
Yeah, because you out-critted me.
Yep.
So, is it reduced damage, like, even to 0? Yep. Stand fast. Weapons have -1 damage for the attack, and the target can't be driven back.
Full stop.
That's a good question.
It doesn't say it there, but I haven't read the inflicting damage part yet.
Yeah, or modifying. Yeah, I mean, we have to go through this whole rulebook to see what's changed.
Yeah, we'll figure it out, and that'll be part of the podcast. Like, there's just a ton to uncover here.
Yeah. We just wanted to do the unboxing because.
Yeah, and now we're in, and like I'm stuck in, ready to learn all this stuff.
Excited.
Yes. All right. Now that we're at the end, let's get some measurements before we forget.
I gotta get some protectors for those things.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
Oh, just hit your mic in the middle of flipping it over. It's fine.
Can edit that out.
Oh, look at that nice. I see why you flipped it over now.
All right, Zicket's Tunnel Pack. We are, I don't know, 105 millimeters by 145 millimeters.
This is America. I don't know what that means.
Right, let's see if the inches line up to anything meaningful. The width is 5 and some 30 seconds.
Just average it out for me. Push it up. It's 5 and 3/4. 7/8. So it's almost 5 and 3. Okay, 5 and 3/4. Measurement is hard. 5 and 3/4. How tall is it?
Not even. 4 and 4.25.
Okay.
4 and an 1/8. It's definitely in millimeters. 105 by 145.
I'll have to find sleeves that fit that.
No, I'm curious if my MCP sleeves will fit.
Tarot card sleeves? No way.
No, not too big.
Oh, you're talking about the fighter cards.
I don't know where those are. Should be more organized.
It's like 4x6 picture frame size.
I don't think the 4x6 is.
The 4 might not be big enough. The 6 will be big enough.
The 6 is, but the 4 is not. Debbie is going to get us custom sleeveys. Nope. All right. Any final questions? Closing thoughts? Before we wrap this thing up?
No, so I mean, just glad that we were able to get a preview copy. So thank you, GW, for that. Super excited to get this out there into the world, and I'm super excited to play some games.
Same. Well, for the Battle Mallet podcast, I'm a treasure token.
I'm a Grievous Room Mark.
I'm neutral territory.
This is Jerod signing out.
Trey's signing out.
And I'm Jason Table Newbury. Get the hell out of here.
Peace.
Go Bills.